Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the morning show.
I don't know why that scared me so bad.
Was that loud?
I was just kind of... I'm on there like...
Shook me to my core. Dude, that's funny. Like, was it like that thunder all over again? Like, what in the world is going on here? Today is like the day. I just went to go live on TikTok and a button popped up for an update. Like, that has been like, it must be, it's update Wednesday. Like, this is crazy. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We're glad that you are here with us on the show. As you know, this is the place, the community. We show up to blow up. I don't know why I said that. It felt right for the day. But no, this is a unique community. We get together to start our day out right. We want to kickstart the day and, man, just see things really, really excel in our lives. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and soon... Oh, we gotta be quiet, y'all. Malachi's on the show. Martinez, his eyes are big. They're as big as silver dollars right now.
Martinez, not the baby.
Yeah.
The baby's asleep.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh.
No, he's not. He's just eyeballing Martinez like...
I think you're muted.
You trying to get me asleep?
Is he muted?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Apologize. I was about to say, I'm the one that's asleep, not Malachi. You know? You're all over there being I'm like, yeah, it's me. It's
Martinez.
Sleep.
Has it been a late night or an early morning?
Bro, it's been a combo.
No,
yes. It's burning the wick at both ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been there.
He's generally asleep about this. Well, he's not. I don't know what it's a fruit. I just don't know. Look at him. He's just looking.
Hey, buddy. He said, I want to see them.
Just knocked him off. He muted him and everything.
He said, be done. Be done.
Good morning, Kiana.
Oh,
That's
God.
my friend.
What's up, Kiana? We've got Mark Henderson. He said, hump day. Dude, it was like, seriously, like my iPad, I didn't tell it to update that I meant, whether, I don't know, I'm probably hit something accidentally. I'll take ownership.
You did months ago when you said automatically update.
No, I
Instantly
actually
regretted that
don't.
decision.
As a production person,
You
I
just
don't
never
automatically update anything
It's nerve-wracking.
because, well, I've done it maybe twice in my life. Once I didn't know any better. Second time was an accident. You know, when you're in the production world, Apple's like, oh my gosh, we've got the latest software.
Yeah.
It's going to be a blast thing. You're going to love it. But everybody that writes code for that new software hasn't had enough time to catch it up. So within a moment,
It's just
it's
miserable.
gone. And then there's even been a situation where they were like, they took out a core component that we utilize. So
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
So we were done.
Yeah, I used to not update quite so fast because of Photoshop. But now that they're cloud-based and they kind of have a pretty good relationship with Apple, there's
Yeah.
a lot of communication, I guess, on the back end beforehand. But yeah.
Yeah. TJ says the first year you survived by, he's talking about rearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You survive by coffee and prayer because you get very little sleep.
You know
Well-
what's really, really rough is if you have the decision or you made the decision to breastfeed. At that point, you're limited on your coffee intake, and so you're just kind of running on a prayer.
Or are you living on a prayer?
Who knows?
Whoa!
Who knows, man? Yeah.
But
Oh, my
you're right. Like no coffee, no caffeine.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You know.
It's rough, man. It's rough. I am just glad I have the perspective of having the right
Day of the week. Let's go,
He knew
Mark.
it was Wednesday.
That's right. See, he's singing along.
Yeah.
Halfway there.
Yep.
I think, did he cut eyes at you when you just did that?
Yeah.
Dad,
He always does.
I love
He
it.
at me like I'm just great. Like who am I?
what is going on with this? We got Kayla in the house. Good morning, Kayla. Good to have you here with us. We're just having a good time. Uh-oh. Somebody needs a cup of coffee.
I'm not even done with the first. We've had this conversation.
What's your favorite flute player? Yanni?
Let me tell you something though. Tired or not, I yawn. I don't know if it has to do with being asthmatic and like
Yeah, they say it
not
has to
getting
do with
enough
breathing.
oxygen. Yeah, like I'm a yawner all the time, and I don't feel like I can't breathe. I'm not just like constantly living.
Is
like
that the one that they say is contagious? Like if you see
If you
somebody
watch
do it,
somebody-
then
yeah.
you want to yawn?
Yeah, watch. It's the greatest thing. You can even fake your yawn and it turn into something
Mm-hmm.
real. But if you have a dog staring at you, like a dog, yawn.
Just
Yeah, they'll yawn. It's hilarious. Yeah, we're talking about it now. Everybody's yawning.
how do you put people to sleep? Just yawn. Just yawn.
So we've been talking about.
We've been talking about perspective. Perspective.
Yes. Good old perspective. Yawning and smiling are contagious.
Oh man, I'm feeling good this Wednesday. Everybody else is having the bat. They're fighting the good fight. I'm
I gotta
feeling
wake
great.
up.
I love it. But yeah, it's the
Too many
morning
thunderstorms.
of perspective, and I'm learning a lot about perspective and just this idea of how to anticipate, how to get out of my own way. And this morning, I'm really excited because, and it's funny, at the tail end of the show yesterday, I saw you get your phone. And I know what that means. When Brittany gets her phone,
That's right.
Brittany gets a... I love you so much. My wife
I promise
is like the
people nuggets
funniest
of
person
Bible
to
study.
me in the world. Could you imagine just showing up to church? Hey, Pastor, good to see you. Oh, crap. Yeah, I've got to do
I have to compile German.
But it might hinder what I was about to say about you. But
I know what it was. I just forgot to get all that stuff up.
So for real, you grabbed your phone and I saw the wheels turning because you had something. I was like, okay, this is gonna be awesome. And that's what she was like. I got something for you this morning. Got something powerful. Becky, good morning to you. So we are doing TikTok. In fact, we even got things lined up for TikTok to get pristine audio. And as soon as I went to hit live on TikTok, an update popped up on my phone and I accidentally hit it, and my phone's updating right now, so I can't go live on TikTok. I'm hoping to have that back up and running. But no, we ain't giving up on the TikTok. Let's see here, Kayla. I legit could go right back to bed, LOL, trying to get my coffee in as quick as possible. All right, Brittany, you've got your work cut out for you. Oh my God, did you see that?
No.
I missed my elbow.
Whoopsie
daisies. You've got to inspire us today.
Yeah.
Can you? Woo. How many wants Brittany to inspire us today?
I don't know about that.
I want Team Brittany. I'm gonna get that shirt made.
Yes, Team Brittany.
Yeah,
it's probably already made out there with all the Britney Spears stuff.
See, we'll just hijack it.
Yeah, just spell it correctly because our names aren't spelled the same.
They're not?
No, I think she's N-E-Y.
You know, a lot of people ask me about that for you.
Because
I only know A and Y.
Gazillion ways. Yeah.
Well, I only know A and Y.
So I had a friend that was A-N-I.
Cool.
Like your mom was trying to be too different.
That's kind of cool, though.
It is.
Get it.
A-N-I. And then I had somebody said N-E-I. And then...
N-E-I?
Yeah.
N-E-I.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Britannia.
Yeah, right.
Okay, cool. I can dig that.
But if we're being honest, if we're spelling it out, my name is Brittany. So,
Britann, like the encyclopedia. Britannica.
Perspective.
Yeah, perspective. Yeah. Anyways, yes.
No, we had a really good.
Kiana says inspirational Brittany time. That's what we should. We should have like little intros. Martinez. It's Momentum Martinez time. Yeah. Inspirational Brittany time. I don't know what mine would be. Did he just say that? Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Less sleepy, more preachy. We gotta wake up. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Joyous Jason.
Joyous Jason.
No, we were just talking about perspective, and I loved the kind of the avenue we took yesterday about. We ended up talking about a lot of our younger generation. We talked about kind of what they may struggle with and things based on kind of. It's hard to have a good perspective when all you've known is negative perspective. Mm-hmm. And then we also talked a little bit about the fact that, hey, we're not knocking the leaders of these kids, or the teachers, or however it is you want to look at it. But, in fact, the way that you can kind of help these kids is caring enough for yourself. It's kind of contagious. And so I kind of got to thinking about a concept, and I don't want to say everyone knows it, but let me put it this way. If you walk into Hobby Lobby, you will see this concept, but I'm going to tell them kind of what I told you the other day, or yesterday, because you were a little caught for a second. But here's kind of, remember I told you my little one-liner, and you were like, ooh, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
What's that mean?
But this is just to kind of encourage you to start with, it's okay to start with yourself. Like, it's okay to develop yourself. And here's what I mean by that, like whatever you're going through. I can't ask something of someone that I'm not willing to give for them to see. Like, are you tracking with me? I know it's, but I can't ask something of someone that I'm not willing to give in order for them to see. Now, I don't mean I don't mean go clean the kitchen. I have to go clean the kitchen so you can see it.
Already did it.
Yes, you did. No, but my point being, it reminded me of this scripture because I don't care what we're talking about. If we're talking about business, if we're talking about lifestyle, if we're talking about anything, it all points back to the Word of God for me. Every ounce of it. So here's what I think about Joshua 24. Look at this. Look at this. My whole phone scrolled up.
We're coming at you, devil.
Yeah, Joshua 24 and 15. He says something so crucial, okay? You probably know where I'm going. If you don't, that's okay because I'm fixing to read it to you. He's talking to the Israelites and he's telling them this is what's going on, okay? They've been delivered from Egypt. They were prisoners for slavery in Egypt for years and years and years. And then God does this miraculous thing through Moses where he delivers them. And that's when they, if you heard the story about where they part the water, he parts the waters and then they're able to go through and they're living in freedom, right? Well, then Joshua, he's the next guy. Like he's the guy that takes them on into the promised land. There's a lot that goes on between that. So I would encourage you to read it. It's really exciting. It's fun. But yeah, there's a lot of things that happen. And you see this theme go on with the Israelites where it's like, oh, wow, God, you're miraculous. But you know what? I'm tired and I like the other gods. It's like they go back and forth. So they're at this crossroads here where there's other gods that you worship in the land. And there's also a lot of things that they're carrying from Egypt that they're it's just hard to deprogram. Almost like they've lived in such a negative perspective for so many years that they don't know anything else, right? So you could look at it similarly to that, right? So this is what Joshua is saying, okay? And if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether it's the gods of that your fathers served, that reigned beyond the river, talking about Egypt, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. And this is what he says. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So this is what I'm saying. Your perspective, how you choose to live out your life, just something as simple as tweaking and making a positive perspective change is start it with you. If you're dealing with somebody in your life where it's like, man, if you're a parent, right? Like I'm trying to steer my kids in a certain direction. Just steer you as the ship, right? It's contagious. Start with you. Self-improvement. Sometimes I think so many people, especially as moms, we have a hard time pouring into ourselves, bettering ourselves, because it's like I have to serve my family, I have to serve my children. And when I say have to, it's a beautiful responsibility and we love it. But at the same time, it's actually not even, it's not self-fulfilling, therefore it's not coming across the way that it should, right? Work on you. As for you, and then all of a sudden, your relationship with God, your consistency in your life, right? You starting that business and staying successful with it or whatever. And the way that you look at things, what you say about things, the positivity behind it is contagious enough to get your house on board. Do you know what I'm saying? As for me and my house, it starts with you. It starts with you first. And so that was a continuation to yesterday. I just felt like that was such a cool little way of God affirming the idea of it starts with leadership, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you're the leader of something, if you're the head of your house, if you're a parent, if you're whatever it may be, it starts with you. Mm-hmm. And something as simple as changing your perspective into a positive perspective. Just the idea of the vocabulary of positivity can change the trajectory of your family.
Absolutely.
I
love that. So to recap what you're saying, by the way, Becky hopped on over to TikTok just a second ago, and she said, wow, the audio is way better. So appreciate the feedback. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, we're trying to really ramp our production back up little by little, have some more things coming.
Yeah.
But perspective is, okay, you said that story, Joshua famously says, as for me, then we.
Yeah.
Me and then everyone with us. And the truth of the matter is that declaration is our declaration, right? Yeah. So whatever it is that you're going to stand for, whatever it is that you're going to do, and again, this could literally, even if you're a single person, a young person, even if you don't have a we just yet, like a group, a household, you have the responsibility to start with you.
Yeah.
Right?
It starts. How can I ask you to treat me better?
If I'm not willing.
Well, if I don't know, it's like it's the idea of you got to give respect. You got to give respect to get it. Mm-hmm. That's not, as for me, no, I have to take the first step. I have to swallow my pride, even if I feel, attacked or hurt. And I have to start showing that.
Right.
And then before I can ever ask for it in return, I have to show it.
Right.
I have to make that positive change. If everybody had that mentality of it starts with me, where would there be conflict?
Well, and I think, let's get some feedback here because I'm curious. Is it just me or is that kind of the attitude that's kind of in culture right now? It's the me culture, but like, in other words, I'll start doing something when you all fix something, or I'll start acting better when, in other words, everything is kind of punted to an external activity. So in other words, something has to happen for me to change myself because I'm unwilling to give of myself or to, grow as an individual. Like, I don't know. What do you all feel? What do y'all think about that? Do you feel like there's this, like, almost like, I don't know, like, this is crazy, but like little things like I love opening the door for people because it catches, for whatever reason, 95% of people, it catches them off guard.
To open the door for them?
To open the door. They're like, I mean, I'm in the South. Like, I was raised, you just, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, open the door. Like, but like, it's almost, oh, thank you. So, like, no one's done this for me before. Like, well, yeah, I'm going to get in there, but why don't I, like, I know that's a simple, but I'm just simply saying that attitude of like, there's not a lot of giving. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do y'all, let's see here. Billy says, Joshua 24:15. My mom had that hanging on our kitchen wall in all its glorious home interior, green, red, and I don't even know what that.
Bronze.
Brittany, that was great. All of the
dyslexics
bronze.
know funny way around things.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it hangs above my front door. And that was a
there it is. Yeah. You didn't even need notes today.
I know, right? Like that hangs.
I'm gonna go get a marker and we.
Well, that was that scripture actually hung up there because I was so during my postpartum whatever with Anna. I was just so troubled about the just the lack of care that society tends to give our children, right? Yeah. That we don't view babies as babies when we should, and just the mistreatment of said babies that when they are born and the mistreatment that they're born into, and it was just really wrecking me, because I was like, here I am, a new mom, and I'm just thinking about, I hear these stories of these babies that are, being abused, and it just really wrecked me. And I was not able to kind of come out of it. My mom said, Brittany, you have to understand, you alone can't fix this world. Like, you alone can't do this. She said, you have to live your life and say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, because he was saying, I can't change you. I can't control you, but I can do what I do in my home. And you can say, my children will not suffer that. My children will have, the freedom to be born. My children will, right. All this stuff. And so that scripture resonated with me for that. It kind of brought me peace, because it was just like, even in the midst of all this stuff, and that still weighs heavy on me. I have to remember it starts with me in my house. Yeah. And then that's, if we all had that, that mentality, but that just shows you a different angle. That goes back to the Word of God. No matter how simple the scripture is, no matter how many times you read it, you can view it differently. That's a different perspective of that scripture. But the idea of first me, than we is something that's interesting.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's even an application in like there is a principle of giving and also a principle of reciprocity. So like some people don't, they don't have that perspective on things. In other words, again, it's about I've got to get before I can give. But the truth of the matter is you give, then you get. I love what Ziglar, if y'all know who that is, it's Zig Ziglar, one of the greatest he was the king of motivation, positivity, and just fantastic personal development guy. He used to talk about, in the quote, wood stove of life, you can't look at the stove and say, if you'll give me fire, then I will give you firewood. I can't. In other words, I'm expecting you to produce a result that I've not yet invested or given myself into. It's not going to happen. And there's just some things in life that with the wrong perspective, you're never you're going to keep hitting that wall, bro.
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me? Well, have you looked? Have you thought about going at this thing with a new perspective? Like it's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
Well, it's like teenagers, as stubborn as they are, right?
Sounded
Teenagers, right?
We love y'all.
Yeah. I don't parent you yet.
We have y'all in our houses all the time.
I don't parent you yet. Like, my kids are still very young. I'm not trying to speak to a season that I don't dwell in. However, we've had our fair share of leading other people's teenagers, and when we find ourselves in a situation where it's like there's conflict in the home, right? There's conflict between what the parents are trying to set and then the kids, and they're, here's the problem.
They just don't get it.
Well, teenagers aren't dumb, right?
No, they're not.
They are highly intelligent. Look, they're us, just younger, right? That's what they are. They're not stupid. And the thing is, more often than not, what we have seen to be an issue is I see what you're telling me to do, you don't do. So they see hypocritical behavior and they call it out. Now, granted, they call it out because they don't understand the healthy practice of respect, right? But at the same time, that goes back to that. As a parent, I want to live my life as me first. I'm going to show you this is what I do, and then we.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that you have to keep a schedule. You need to get up in the morning. You need to when I don't crawl out of bed till after you wake up. I set the pace, right? I set the pace for my house. It's me then we.
Yeah.
So yeah, just little things like that, the ways you can implement, starting with you. Take that step, develop who you are. Don't look at your kids and say, hey, do it better than I did. Do it better than I did. No, start now. It's never too late to change your perspective. It's never too late to do an endeavor. It's never too late, but that has to do with how you view your life.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely. Let's see, Billy says, the Jews call that turning the gem to see how the light shines through it, depending on your perspective. That's absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Honey, you got to turn that gem sometimes. I love that. Siri, I didn't talk to you. Crazy. Let's see. We got some activity going on here with TikTok. Let's see here. Vicky wound up at he was the Ziglar. I love it. More like the manager. They are. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm the auntie that slaps them with the truth. Let's go. Here's your perspective.
Yeah, truth bombs.
Truth bombs. I love it. On that note, okay, the idea of, setting the pace in the home, because we can't help but kind of talk about where we're at. That's just so little kids, having them in our home. One of the things that really challenged me, I heard somebody talking about this. The story goes that there was, a dad encouraging his child, right, to, to excel, and even kind of getting on to them about, you've got to do better. If you're going to do good in life, you're going to have to da. Well, there was a mentor, somehow some kind of mentor entered his life and basically challenged this dad by simply saying, you're wanting your child to never give up on their dreams. My question for you is, when did you give up on yours?
That's a great
question. Like it made me like sit back and say, hang on a second. So sometimes I think we even have this perspective in life. I'm going to quote unquote pay my dues, and then I get to coast. But what if the truth of life is that I should have the quote pedal to the metal as long as I can, to your point, because I've got a generation that's looking to me and they're actually looking to borrow my like in other words, like I think our kids, and I think everyone does this, you have to borrow someone's faith until you find your own. Or you have to borrow someone's confidence.
Yeah.
Someone's influence, right? You have to borrow things until you develop your own. Well, if I give up before my kids find their own, what am I really doing to launch them? What am I really doing to help them? Like I can't give up, because when I give up, what I'm really doing is I'm giving up on them.
Yeah.
I'm really saying, hey, here's what you do. You live this way until life hits you, and then you begin to settle.
Yeah. And like let your love for someone like your child, right? Let that be your guide to find yourself again. Absolutely. But inevitably do it, inevitably let that lead you to the point where you're doing it for you.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Like when you can't, that's to your point. When you can't find that strength to find you, then do it for them. Right. But inevitably get to the place where you are doing it for you. You know, like you're finding, because I'll tell you, your identity is not a mom or a dad. That's a title that you have. And it's a beautiful title, but it's not, your kids are going to grow up and they're going to, they're going to have their own family, and you want them to have that. And then when they go, what are you? You need to work now to have the strength to be able to say, I can launch you and I'm not left with nothing. I mean, you're going to be lonely. Yeah, it's going to be, but I said that in a,
it's funny. All right. This is a little private talk being public. Me and Brittany have talked about this because we've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Okay. And we know inevitably we're going to be the empty nesters down the road.
Probably quickly, because we had them close together.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
And to her point, this is not like, man, I can't. We love our kids. We want them to stay with us as long as they want to. But the day that they go, I'm going to be honest with you, me and her will not miss a beat. That's my belief. And the only reason I say that is because we genuinely like being together. You hear stories about we made it all about the kids. And then when the kids left, it was and granted, we've not reached that point, right, where we're going everywhere and doing it. But genuinely,
but we're starting now.
We're trying to be very intentional about, look, we like this show. We have fun doing this show. And we're doing it together.
Yeah.
But even with our kids, we love doing things together with them. Genuine. I remember, what was it, a year or two? No. It had to have been 2 years ago. Our anniversary was you, me. I don't know if Adley was even born.
She was.
She was born?
Are you talking about the house when we did pizza?
Yeah, we did homemade pizzas at the house, and that was our anniversary.
That was pandemic anniversary.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Pizza pan.
Pizza pan. We did homemade
pizza pandemic anniversary. But I'm telling you, that was one of the funnest days. Like just, and by the way, I'm not saying that because like, I'm like, oh my God, that's so like, I'm just telling you the truth. We had a blast.
We're also not saying that you can't need a break from your.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
but
sure,
for us,
for
you
sure.
know, that was
Like, don't get me wrong. There are times where it's like, quit asking why. I love you, but stop.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's the messy everything, but it's a good messy.
Yeah.
But that's my perspective. I don't know if how many of you parents on there could like speak into that, like perspective when it comes to your kids. Like, is there a possibility that maybe having a proper perspective, say that several times, proper perspective, changes the way, to your point, the family gets together? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this a moment that I'm hating, or is this a moment I'm enjoying because I know it won't last for long? Martinez he's walking, he's thinking. He gave up. Malachi's like,
Kiana
nope,
said,
he's
I
awake.
can't wait for those moments. Let me tell you something. Too often when you are in the before of having children, people look at you and they say, sleep while you can, or get ready while just trust me, you can wait for it. They're nuts. I'm not that person. Like, having children is incredible, and when that season comes for you, and it will come, it will be a beautiful season. Yes, there are difficult times, but the good far outweighs the difficult, seasons of, there's a lack of sleep. Big deal. Like, you got the rest of your life to sleep.
Come on.
Kids are amazing.
Well, it's like, if you think about it, like, hey, we've binge watched shows into the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, you're just kind of watching a drama unfold with a child.
Yeah. But don't ever think that you're less of a woman, less of a man, because you don't have kids yet, though. Because
for sure.
I didn't.
For sure.
Yes, they've taught me something. Yes, they opened up a place in my heart in a way that I didn't imagine was possible, right? But I was, before having, I'm still me. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the season before kids that help you stay grounded to, this is me. I'm defining me now, so that when I do have kids and things are kind of nuts and I'm knee deep in poopy diapers and Cheerios, I can find me again. You're in the me that is now, and that's a beautiful thing too. And so they both are just so incredible. So
we've got Skylight for Serious on here. She said nachos are our fireplace. They come running. We have nachos. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for being with us today. I do want to say a timeout for a second.
Yeah.
To your point about, man, I want my kids. I want to have kids. Like, because we went through that phase.
3 years we did, yeah.
Absolutely. But here's what I was going to say. Young people, I heard a pastor talk about this, and I cannot agree more. And he talked about, if you're single, okay, and you genuinely have those ambitions of family life, things like that, okay, one of the greatest things that you can do is to, and again, this goes back to the give. Give and it shall be given. Go give of yourself to families who are in the season that you are in.
Yeah.
So if they, like, in other words, offer to go, like, hey, hey, can I help you all? Like, do you all, like, here's you a good one. If you're capable of this, hey, do you all need a date night? Because I could watch your kids for you. Me and my spouse could, you see what I'm saying?
Here's my background check.
Yeah, here's my background. Yeah, like, I'm not saying like go up to rent, but I'm saying like people in your church or your friends and family, like people, like, you're like, man, I'd really like, bro, go give of yourself. Go, in your church, right? Student ministry. Go find some groups that you can partner with and learning to, because here's the truth, even in those kind of group settings, the power of those things are not in the presentations, and it's not like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is significance in those, but the deal is spending time. Like getting to, like giving a young person the opportunity to tell their life, to tell their experiences, for you to be able to just sit there and listen and give of your attention. Like, it will change your life, and it will actually shift your perspective. Like, I don't know. Like, you're exactly right. Like, don't be so, like, there's so much you can do right now that's going to actually be an investment, because then you're going to go into, like, that's something that the Lord really blessed us with, was an opportunity. And we don't stop to this day. I mean, oh my gosh, we just love people.
But I never found that my identity was in singleness, and I never found that my identity was in just married union.
Coupledness.
I never found that my identity was in infertility. I never found that my identity is even in motherhood, because I think you can find fulfillment beyond the responsibility of motherhood. You can find fulfillment beyond the struggles of, I don't know, for me it was infertility, or beyond that, because fulfillment is that you can find that in any season of your life. It's a matter of where your perspective is, truthfully.
Let's see here. Let's see here. We've got T said, greatest treasure of my life, next to Jesus and Ashley. Let's see here. Good, Billy, are you present, or are you waiting for them to end because you have something to do? Yeah. Bro,
it will be there when the kids go to sleep. That's so true. That's so true.
That's the truth. Mother Teresa, good morning. Marry your best friend, and you will have a friend for life. Like, I gotta say that, like, I know they're my parents, but like these two,
well, they're the perfect example.
They're like legit 42 years, okay, and they still have the time that, like, I've had.
Well, this is somebody. Like, case in point, they went through empty nest season, and they came out together. You know what I mean? And so that's
a blast.
But your identity was not in strictly parenthood, or your identity was not. What is it?
It says, ask them questions and they will build character. Absolutely. Absolutely. Help them to analyze. That's absolutely right.
Honestly, to that point, children has, having a toddler, and then now, a small kid, because I don't think she's considered a toddler anymore, but it grows
Anna?
Yeah, it grows my faith in God more, which is so crazy, but she teaches me so much in her simplicity of the facts.
Just the facts, man.
Oh yeah, like I talked about it in my sermon. I just asked her, what does Jesus do? Who is Jesus? What does he do for you? And she thought about it, looked out the window, and she looked at me and she said, he fixes broken things. And it's just like, do it
with the lisp though.
Oh yeah, he fixes broken sayings. And that, man, that's a kid's perspective is just phenomenal.
Flip the script. Uh-oh, Martinez, go ahead.
I was about to share that what you all have been sharing as it relates to, like, Jason talking about, like, the father who was challenged. Hey, are you giving up on your dreams, or while you're, encouraging your kids, and Brittany talking about identity and, not being in the children or even the title with her as a wife or what have you. And I started thinking about, that's not too much different than what Joshua was going through, right? Because Joshua, he made a challenge to the people. He's like, hey, listen, you're in the land of the Amorites, and you can choose to serve them.
Yeah.
In other words, he's like, your father served certain guys on that side of the river or what have you. But, now we're in Amorites, and now you're in their land, so you can choose to serve their gods. And, of course, we all know that God is a spirit, right? And there's a spirit in the land that would challenge you to give up on your dreams, And there's a spirit in the land that says, okay, your identity is in the fact that you don't have children, or the fact that when you do have children, it's in motherhood. There's a pervading spirit in the land. And that spirit is such that you can choose to serve it. you know, whatever that spirit is, whatever that ideal is, you can choose to serve it. And the question is, like, you know, guess what? You can choose to serve it. I know your father's church served it. You know, there's a history of different gods being served, or, you know, there are different ideas and name it and claim it, you know, ideas and spirits being served, whatever it is. But he's like, listen, but for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You know, in other words, for me in this, you know, at this day and time, for me and my house, I'm not giving up on my dreams. You know, I'm not letting go. I'm not going to be overcome by the pressures and oppressions of life, the whine and grind of, you know, paying bills. You know, I'm going to continue to pursue them, and I'm going to be in a place where I continue to encourage my kids to pursue them. You know, I got kids. Yeah. You know, and everything, my life is in my kids. And guess what? I can choose to have my identity and the kids and being a mother or father or whatever. But and once we become empty nesters, we'll be facing the same thing that everybody else does, and that is, do we have anything in common besides our kids? No, we don't. Oh, let's divorce or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Like, and God speaks to all that. Brittany, you talk about scripture and how everything comes back to scripture and word. And God, guess what? Hear ye, absolutely. You know what I mean? And so, like, and so, like, my thinking is, like, God has an answer for all that, like who your identity is supposed to be in, like where, you know, the plans He has for you, and you know, and your ability to seek first the kingdom of heaven. He'll show forth your dreams. You know, in other words, like, there's a right way to do it. You can serve the spirit of this land. We might not be in Amorite land as Joshua was, but we're still in a land where they're putting forth certain, you know, every idea, every spirit, they're saying, serve this, serve that. You'll never stop from getting an invitation from, you know, the powers that be to kind of like do it their way or serve their gods, if that makes sense. So it's like just like Joshua, we got to change our perspective, because if our perspective is to accept what the present day land, the present environment has to serve us, we will lose.
Yeah. Right.
We will fall short.
Well, anyway, you keep falling prey to the gods of the land, and you don't serve the God who brought you through all the lands. You know, like the one constant thing through all of it, you're waffling on, you know, and it's the same thing, you know, the land, I look at lands in what we're talking about kind of like seasons. You know, you got your seasons that you live in, and you don't know how to even make it to the next season, because all of a sudden all of your fulfillment was within that season. You know what I'm saying? But that's because your identity was in that.
Right.
I'm not trying to skip into last week, but your identity was in that season, not in God, who brought you to that season and inevitably through that season and into another one. Your fulfillment has to do with who you are, right, in and out of seasons. Like,
right.
Yeah. And I've heard it said that certain lands like environments, like geographically, certain areas have certain spirits, certain domineering ideas, and you know, like you know, you go to New Orleans, it's a totally different spirit, totally different value system than, say, Montana, you know, or, you know, and all I'm trying to say is every land, every environment geographically has a pervading, like, domineering, like, you know, I'll just say spirit that, or a perspective idea that they would want you to kind of adhere to. And like, where, you have to decide, like in America, it as much as we like to say that we're, a God-fearing society and that kind of thing. I mean, time has proven that seems to be more of just a mouthpiece sort of thing. It's just like just words, so to speak. But everything like you all are talking about, like whether if you're not holding on to your dreams, who gave you those dreams? First of all, like they didn't come from, they came from on high on the most part. As far as children, who gave you the children, but who gave you that marriage? And so everything is against like the provider, the God who gave you those dreams, who gave you that children, who gave you those children, that marriage, And so it's kind of like the perspective is you to follow anything other than the one that gave you what you have right now. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so the thing about it is, it's like, every day it's trying to change your perspective. Joshua went through it, right? Like the perspective was, hey, your father served certain guys. The perspective is, hey, in this land, in the land of the Amorites, okay, we're supposed to, do as the Romans do. But he saw the wave coming, and he's like, whoa, pump your brakes. Whether your father did it or whether you want to do something different now in the land that you are dwelling in, then guess what? I'm stopping this at the gate. As for me and my house, we will not give up on our dreams. Mm-hmm. As for me and my house, we will not have our sole identity in just each other or in the roles that we play, because we are God. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we're so much bigger than that. Mm-hmm. I'm talking too much, but the thing about it is, like, it's what you all are talking about is so applicable to what Joshua was following through or going through back in the day in the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. It's just it's perspective. You got to see it and then change your perspective. You got to see the wave coming, and then like hope that you are on a foundation that allows you to, have a perspective that will, outlast the wave, the what's trying to show up on your door, so to speak.
Right. Looks like you awakened the preacher in Mark. Mark said when they were getting ready to change their season, they had to go through Gilgal, a change or a rededication to get to their new season. It will cost them something. I do. I'm listening to.
It's Wednesday Bible.
Yeah.
Wednesday Bible study.
Wednesday. The thing that's kind of interesting about all of these is we have, okay, so you're talking about every land. In other words, the area, the spirit behind it, the culture that, is dominant, right? There is this concept that I'm thinking about, and that is, in the story there, Israel is supposed to settle the land. And to your point, it's just natural that the land tries to settle you. Mm-hmm. And so I say that because even in Genesis, here's the command, so to speak. Go and subdue the land. In other words, go and possess it. In other words, put your mark on it. Mm-hmm. Don't let the land dictate the terms to you, but you dictate the terms in which what happens in the land. So I'm not going to be settled by where I am. I'm not going to let, like what's the Greek mythology story? I'm not going to be in the den of the lotus eaters and just fall prey to pleasure and joy and abandon my dreams, but rather wherever I go, my perspective is I'm a person who has been sent here to subdue this area in a way that improves it. makes it better. I don't come in and necessarily pick things up and allow the change to happen. But what I'm really doing is I'm leaving my mark as a leader, and then when I leave, they can say, "Man, that place got better."
Yeah.
You know, that environment was better. Why? Somebody showed up and they put their mark there.
Yeah.
They settled the land. They took the resources and used it for a glorious process. They didn't waste it or abuse it, but they actually did something that made a difference.
How do you do that?
How do you do that?
I have a theory.
I want to hear it.
Serving the Lord.
Serving the Lord.
Like when you, whatever it is you do, right? Like possess the land, that's going to take effort, right? You got to have good, to leave your mark, right? Good business skills, good I talked about, God can't bless you with that job until you have the credentials for said job, right? Like you have to do work, but you do it while serving the Lord.
Yeah.
And that's how you possess the land. And I'm not shaken by the shifting of the lands.
Right.
Like doesn't matter where I'm from. Doesn't matter what's going on. Inflation.
Oh, but you don't live where I'm at.
Lord.
I'm in Tornado Alley.
Yeah, right? Like I'll serve the Lord. You live in a red state. I'll serve the Lord. You live in a blue state. I'll serve the Lord. What about inflation? I'll serve the Lord.
I don't live in America.
What about gas prices? I'll serve the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter. Like my faith is in God, and wherever I'm at, whatever the obstacles of all of that may be, I serve God first, and as I work through God, favor, blessing, inevitably prosperity. When I work the land.
Well, to that point, it doesn't matter where you are because the Bible talks about this. We're like Paul. We have dual citizenship.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody talked about that.
Yeah. You act a little different. Are you not from here? No, I'm not. Yeah. No, I'm not. And I'm just giving you a taste of where I've been.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, right?
Yeah.
I love that. It's in the world, not of the world, right?
Yeah. Rob Davis in the house. Sorry, I just wanted to shout him out. I see him on here. Glad you're here with us.
That's awesome. I was just thinking too, when you talk about possession, that's kind of like it has a dual meaning too, because there's giants in the land, right? So, and you're always going to have giants in the land. And so the thing about it is, hey, to possess it, means also you're going to have to. It's an action where you have to drive things out. You're going to have to drive things out of the land, and so it's kind of like when you are earmarked as a child of God, you've made it known who and what I'm about. But the thing about it is when you go in, so it's a foregone conclusion. You're a child of God, and you come in, you mean business. You mean to possess and drive out.
Yeah.
You're not, and people see that there's fear in the enemy's eyes, knowing that, hey, this is what you stand for, because this is the blueprint for which you work, the way your strategy for creating for possessing and the land, so to speak. And so the first piece of land I think we have to possess is it, and it goes back to what you said, Brittany, is in my opinion, this is just me, the possess is our land from in between our ears, from head to toe. Possess that land, drive out the enemy in that land,
It
and
starts
then you'll
with
be in a place.
Yeah.
Then you'll be in a place potentially to drive out, to possess other land or whatever land it is, or better yet, just not be influenced by what the land has, for you. You're not settling. You're settling it. You're not allowing it, as Jason said, to settle you.
Yeah.
We got to drive out. Drive out. Giants in the land.
It starts with you. As he was talking, I thought about, anytime I've seen situations where kids end up leaving faith altogether, right? And you've got I just listened to an interview of a girl. She's ex-evangelical is what they call them, and themselves. And so she had talked about how she was a preacher's kid. Her dad was a preacher, and her mom was a principal, and all this stuff going on. And throughout the house, they had this front there, but then in the house, he was extremely abusive, physically abusive, and all this stuff. You know what he was doing? I believe with all my heart, you're trying to control the we, and you're not fixing you first.
Yeah.
Right? As for me, how do you speak for your house? I speak for me first.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because if I speak for we before I speak for me, that's a power trip.
Yeah.
If I speak for me and then we, that's leadership.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
And I grew up in a house of leadership, not power trips.
Right.
Like, as for me, I'm going to serve the Lord. I saw that firsthand and got on board. Right? Yeah. So it starts with you. You chase your dreams, and your kids will learn how to be dream chasers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You serve God in front of them. How are you going to tell them to have a prayer life if they don't hear you praying?
Right.
Right? Like, you do this first, and then they do it. How can you ask something of somebody that you're not willing to let, that they can't see you doing,
Right.
And so just remember that. Evaluate yourself, because I think person on a power trip, you just think that there's somebody, boy, that's just an awful person. Actually, that could just as easily be you or me, and we don't even know it. Evaluate, am I leading my house? Am I asking my children something that I'm not willing to give?
Right.
Or that I haven't shown first? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm personally, I constantly am trying to be better and better and better at organization.
Right.
I'm not perfect at it. I'll be the first to admit it. But here's my point. I can't ask my kids to treat things with respect and treat this house with respect if I don't keep it, you know what I mean? If I don't keep it together.
I agree.
Mom worked hard to clean this, and if you mess it, you're going to clean it up. Why? Because I cleaned it first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we leave it better than we found it.
And we leave it better than we found. Those
Absolutely.
are values. Think about it. Don't drive with the we, right? Don't stop trying to steer we before you fix yourself. Me, as for me, I can speak for my house because I spoke for me first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, y'all, it's 9. We've got to get out of here. A few comments here. We've got
Danielle.
Kayla said, I'm not from here. I don't put tomato in my gumbo. That's hilarious. Hi, Danielle. TJ said, so true. You can't change anyone but yourself, and changing yourself leads others. Absolutely. Go, Brit. Leadership, not power trips. Absolutely. I'm sorry for all the coffee.
You're a guest, Danielle. It's okay.
That's hilarious, though. And on the let's see here, we got here Skylight for Siri. She said that this was back on the conversation about kids. She knew a woman that couldn't have kids, but developed a center that literally helped raise thousands of kids, which is incredible.
There's 2 definitions for a mother. There's a mother noun, which is the literal mom that can birth the children, but then there's mother verb. And a mother verb is the action of being motherly. And a mother noun, that's a pretty, hey, I was born a woman, right? But a mother verb, that's action.
Yeah.
And that she is no less of a mother because she just so happened to not have them. I love that story. That's a mother verb fulfilling her calling. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And it said, Dream Chasers. I love it. Can I ask how you all met? I'll tell you what. Be back with us tomorrow at 8 a.m. That is how we will start the show.
We're going to take them back.
We're going to take them back. Middle school.
18 years ago.
18. Yeah, this was a trip. I don't know why I went there.
I don't.
Gilligan's Island.
Is it going to take 3 hours to tell the story?
A 3-hour story. Oh my gosh. Well, you all have an awesome day.
Hey, listen, if you don't have anything to do at 7 p.m. tonight, tune in to Bible study at Point of Mercy. Dad's going to be preaching a good one.
Fired up!
Look at there. I did a little commercial.
You ought to do media or something, Brittany.
My
commercial. Be blessed, y'all.
Dear Lord, 18 years. I love y'all.